So I had discussed the components. The last component was left, that is the user interface. So see, when I say 10:15, you guys are joining in 10:18. So should I say 10 a.m.? Then you guys will be joining by 10:15. So see, we were discussing for the expert systems, the we had discussed what a human expert is, what a knowledge engineer is, and then the knowledge base and inference engine. And in the inference engine, we had discussed the forward chaining and backward chaining. Now I'll be discussing them in details. Forward chaining means as we are going ahead, just like from the data, we are trying to find out what will happen next or predict what will happen next. So forward chaining is dealing with what can happen next, or what may happen next, or what will happen next. It is a prediction kind of thing. So here the inference engine follows a chain of conditions and derivations, and finally deduces a outcome or output. It considers all the facts and rules which are there in the knowledge base extracted from the human expert via the knowledge engineer and embedded into the knowledge base. Okay, and it sorts them out before concluding what is the solution or what is the diagnosis and so on. Okay, next, so the flow you can see here, fact 1, fact 2. So there it may be a and logic or logic. So here you see I am putting fact 1 and fact 2 together, giving me decision 1, and fact 3 or fact 4 giving me decision 2. And then what I'm taking, I'm combining the decision 1 and 2 and getting decision 4. Here decision 3 is missing. You don't have to worry about that, because there are multiple cases where it may be that fact 5 and 6 were leading to decision 3, but both are missing. So basically, we have a set of rules designed based on whatever information could be extracted from the human expert by the knowledge engineer and embedded into the knowledge base. And during the analysis of the inputs or facts, the knowledge base, based on the rules that has been set up, we are coming into the decision via forward chaining that what can happen next. Okay, I hope this part is clear. So the strategy that is followed is working on the conclusion, result, effect, and so on. And you are predicting, like, say, for example, share market changes, effect of changes, and other things. Like one very important thing, as I told in one of the classes, if I think you remember or not, that what happened in the COVID pandemic. In the COVID pandemic, initially what happened, the gold prices were high. I hope the ladies are following the gold prices. Or those who are listening to radio, आज का सोने का भाव कितना है? They give in the newspapers as well as FM radios. Have you listened to it? Any one of you who has the idea of the gold prices? Gold prices? Anyone? Ladies? लड़का लोग को नहीं बोलूंगा, लड़की लोग को ही बोलूंगा. गोल्ड प्राइसेस किसी को आइडिया है? आज अभी अप्रोक्सीमेटली कितना चल रहा है?
6,000 something.
Yeah. So what has happened is 1 gram is around 5,000 now, whereas when the COVID just started and everything was closed down, at that time it went up to around 6,000. The reason is that initially when there is some pandemic or other things, we human beings try to accumulate money. So how can we accumulate money? We can use the, say, buy some gold, because in India the you'll see, I hope all of you have seen the currency notes. It is written that you are returning in terms of gold, but there is a difference with the US dollar. Can anybody tell me what is the difference between what is written in the US dollar and Indian currency? Anyone? Statistics wale? Statistics guys? See, if you see any USD, वो नेट पे भी देख लेना, अगर तुम्हारे पास ऐसा नहीं कि यू हैव टू हैव ए यूएस डॉलर टू सी यू दैट इट इज रिटन दैट $1 means that person, if you give this paper note of $1 means in exchange of that $1 a work will be exchanged. It is not said what form of work. So when this Afghanistan and those things were there, US was building the construction and other things were happening because in exchange of the dollars they are building something there or doing something, so this kind of thing. Whereas in India it is always accumulated based on gold. Okay, so when I say 1 rupee means you giving 1 rupee or taking 1 rupee is taking 1 rupee worth gold or giving 1 rupee worth gold. अभी 1 रुपए में तो गोल्ड क्या मिलेगा दिखेगा भी नहीं, that's a different thing. क्योंकि 1 ग्राम का अगर 5,000 हुआ तो 1 rupees means 1/5,000 out of it. But anyway, अभी तो डिजिटल गोल्ड भी आ गया है, so everything is becoming digital. So now basic idea what I'm saying is that this fact one and fact two. Fact one is that COVID pandemic has started and now I should accumulate some money. So what I'll do, I'll buy some gold. So there you'll see the gold prices are rising. This is supply and demand kind of thing. Statistics वालों और economics वालों को वो सब ज्यादा पता होगा. Anyway, economics people are not there here. Now what happened after that is that people were getting salary, people were not getting salary and so on. Whatever happened in between, once it has started losing, now the stock prices have gone up. Indian stock market is booming like anything, whereas now gold prices are down. No wonder it is not that much down, but still compared to what it was initially during the pandemic, compared to that 6,000, now it is around 5,000. Whereas say 2 years back it was किसी ने अगर खरीदा होगा तो 3,000 4,000 चल रहा था, 3,100 per gram or 3,200 per gram, it was in 3,000. कोविड में वो बढ़ के 5,000 6,000 तक पहुंच गया. अभी 6,000 से रिड्यूस होके 5,000 49,000 48,000 sorry 4,900 4,800 ऐसा चल रहा है, 5,000 के आसपास. कभी 5,100 हो रहा है, कभी 4,900 हो रहा है. Is that correct? Have you seen that? Anybody who has monitored it? So basic, those who are into stock markets, statistics वाले को you have to be in the stock market. Okay, पूरा statistics पूरा यहाँ पे बड़ा बड़ा problem है. If you don't see it, it is not. और अभी तो ऐप वगैरह भी आ गया है. You can वो advertise दिखाता है कि you can start investing with your mobile if you have a KIC done. Anyway, so basic idea what I was discussing regarding the forward chaining is that what can happen next. So if you know that gold prices will rise, COVID pandemic is going to start. Had you bought some gold say in 2019 at the rate 3,100, कोविड के स्टार्टिंग में उसको 6,000 रुपए में बेच सकता था, अभी भी 5,000 रुपए में बेच सकता है. So अभी 10 ग्राम किसी के पास होगा तो his 30,000 has been converted to 50,000. अभी तो fix this whatever this interest rates and those things have gone down because of that. Okay, so now you are having this kind of system because you can deal with this kind of facts that are coming, like oil prices are going high, or you can invest in something. So this share market is corresponding to the whatever the news is coming and other things. Anybody has played the game Dalal Street? Dalal Street game खेला है? Anybody? So Dalal Street, just to give you an idea, now I don't know it is there or not. In our UG days, it was there. UG PG days, it was there. So this game was about you are not investing money in the market, but you will be allotted some fund, that is a virtual fund, and some news flashes will come. With respect to the news flashes, you have to invest your money, and there is a competition who gets more returns out of those same. Say initially, say I, Vishal, Trishita, Purnima, Ananda, we are getting some money. say everybody is getting say 1 lakh, that is a virtual money, and then news flashes are coming, so all the stocks are available, we invest somewhere, and after say this number of transactions, say 20 transactions or 30 transactions or 50 transactions or 100 transactions, we'll see whose money has increased. Okay, whoever is say increasing his or her say money more, they are able to actually follow the news. They'll be constantly flashing news, and with respect to that you have to invest your money, and with respect to that you will be getting the returns, and you will be selling and reselling stocks, and every time you sell there will be, you have to pay the brokerage and other things. So it is simple, just a simulation of what the stock market is like, and they are correlating the news flashes with respect to say old say if 2 years or 3 years back news things and changes and other things. Okay, getting the idea what is this game about? Abhi, how many of you are playing games? So many of you are playing computer games and other things. So those games are all of them do not say help you in say this kind of things. But here, if Dalal Street is one of the games, it was popular because of the fact that it can virtually train you to invest in the stock market. Okay, and it is trying to simulate the facts, fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, fact 4, and number of facts which are coming from the news channels, and based on which you are taking your decisions and you are doing the investments. And timing is also important. Okay, so timing is very important. So yeah, those differences are there. Okay, getting up to this, the forward chaining, what can happen next? If you can predict, you are the winner here, because if you can predict कल stock market कौन सा stock में आज invest करने से कल ये हो जाएगा, then you are the winner. Anybody knows Rakesh Jhunjhunwala?
Yes, sir.
So who is he?
It's a big bull.
No, big bull, but what is his main plus point?
Sir, he buys stocks and the stocks that
Yes.
will increase.
Yes, his prediction
on
is very good. He knows this forward chaining very well. He knows what can happen next, and based on that, his investments are. So he started from a very middle class family, and as he went on investing, his predictions, his so if we can make an expert system out of him, okay. So any one of you say are ready to say, and he is also allowing you to give his experiences, and you can make a knowledge base from his experiences, then you can uh, say predict the things properly, and you can make a software which can work like him. Getting clear up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now obviously the backward changing is the reverse of this. The same as diagnosing the problem. अभी उसको ऐसा क्यों हुआ है? वो खाने उल्टा पुल्टा खाने की वजह से हुआ है, या ये खाने की वजह से हुआ है, वो खाने की वजह से हुआ है. अभी ऐसे तो when you make say people say the milk is also good for health, this lemon juice is also good for health, दोनों एक साथ पियो तो हाल खराब हो जाएगा. So here why this has happened, why they are not good, so these kind of things we have, because the doctors are doing this mainly, why this has happened. So here the strategy is that an expert system will find out the answer to the question on the basis of what has happened. अभी जैसे हम लोग we did it for the के उसको पिकल लिवर हुआ कि नहीं, कैसे जॉन्डिस जैसा दिख रहा है, ब्लड शॉट जैसा दिख रहा है, तो उसको पिकल लिवर हुआ होगा. Okay, so here the inference engine tries to find out which conditions could have happened, like we had predicted that इसका पिकल लिवर हुआ है तो श्योर ये ड्रिंक करता होगा, क्योंकि फैटी लिवर तो दही और घी खाने से भी होता है. So that is a non-alcoholic fatty liver, but that non-alcoholic fatty liver doesn't lead to liver cirrhosis, whereas drinking can lead to that. Okay, so there are say 95% probability that liver cirrhosis happens due to alcohol drinking. So that is the most easiest one. So why this has happened is very easy. ये तो अभी किसी को है अगर unless it is a very unique case, or there are 90 to 95% chances that this has happened due to drinking. Liver cirrhosis normally happens due to drinking. Fatty liver is a different thing. Fatty liver can happen due to having more cheese, butter, ghee and fatty foods. That is a different thing. जो मोटा है उसका भी हो सकता है वो, but fatty liver can be because of alcohol also. So when you say fatty liver, it doesn't mean that that person is a heavy drinker or something. But if you say liver cirrhosis, there is very high probability that that person is a that is a regular drinker, due to which he has had this liver cirrhosis. Okay, so here the facts are other way round. So you can see the decision flow is other way around. You see, you find out a decision, and then we go based on this decision, we come to this 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2 is giving the facts. So we are trying to find out the facts based on the decision. अभी किसी का मर्डर हो गया, अभी क्यों मर्डर हुआ होगा, वो किसने किया होगा, क्यों किया होगा, this kind of thing. It is a backward changing. So here the strategy followed to find out. So for example, diagnosis of blood cancer in humans. So blood cancer कैसे हो सकता है? Okay, so anybody with any idea of blood cancer or any other things? किसी को है? Otherwise I'll not go to the medical terms. Okay, I'll avoid that. Anyway, lastly coming to the C, that is the user interface. Now in user interface is the one which is connecting the the user with the this knowledge base and strategy and other things. Okay, so here this provides the interaction between the user and the expert system, or you can say the expert, though we are, so normally for NLP we can use means if we are well versed with that, you can use that. So user interface is very important, because this knowledge, the person who is using this expert system, he may be a layman, he may not be having any idea of this or that. We are dealing with technical terms, and the person who is say using the software, he or she is not aware. अभी Alexa वगैरह यूज करते हो तुम लोग को थोड़ी पता है अंदर में क्या प्रोग्रामिंग चल रहा है. Now you are saying something, your voice is being recognized. अभी असम वाला तो है बहुत लोग, असम वाला है ना?
हाँ सर.
हाँ, so ये what do you call egg?
सर असमीज में.
हाँ, असमीज में
कोनी कहते हैं सर.
हाँ, अभी you ask somebody from Tripura what do you mean by that? Vishal, what does that mean?
Sir, which one? Sir, Konni.
Yes, it's a body part.
Oh, sir, elbow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Elbow.
you're getting the difference?
Yes, sir.
So there are a lot of words where this like say if you understand something, what do you say in Assamese? Say I have understood. In Assamese, what do you say? Means I have understood in Assamese.
सर क्या बोला आपने?
I have understood.
मैं बुझी पालू.
Okay. So this one is nearly similar to this what say even say Vishal doesn't know Assamese, say he will still understand. But when you have something like you gom paisu भी बोलते हैं ना.
हाँ सर.
हाँ, तो वो
हाँ, तो
होगा
वो
तो कोई
होगा तो कोई
हिंदी के साथ
हिंदी के
रिलेट
साथ
करेगा तो
रिलेट
क्या
करेगा
होगा?
तो क्या होगा?
गोम्पाइसु.
हिंदी वाले
हिंदी
बोलो.
वाले बोलो.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
हाँ.
Yes.
So say for
So say for
example,
example,
you are explaining something to Vishal,
and Vishal
and
say
Vishal say,
and or say vice versa. Vishal is explaining something to you, and you say the gom paisu. Then Vishal will think, अरे इतना देर समझाया कुछ समझा ही नहीं, इसको अभी भी दुख है कि समझ में नहीं आया. Getting? So that language problem that is there in natural language processing. So if you are using a Alexa, if you are doing it in English, fine, no problem in that. Alexa or any kind of this voice or natural language processing things. So if you use Alexa and those things, it has to understand that what you are trying to say. Okay, every time you do, if you speak in English, fine, it understands. But when you try to speak, you are trying to incorporate it your local language. Abhi Apple ka already Assamese and Bengali they support. Okay, but they may not support the dialects. Abhi Upper Assam and Lower Assam there is a difference in dialects. त्रिपुरा में भी अभी बांग्लादेश का 3-4 डिस्ट्रिक्ट का अलग अलग है. अभी साउथ त्रिपुरा में एक बोलता है, नॉर्थ त्रिपुरा में एक बोलता है और वेस्ट त्रिपुरा में खिचड़ी बोलता है. Okay, so there is because the South Tripura is more near to the Noakhali district, so you have more Noakhali dialects there, and North Tripura is more near to Sylhet district, Silchar and other parts, so you have more of the Sylheti dialect there, whereas West Tripura is the mixture of everything. You don't have any, and they have developed something of their own. They have included something इधर से उधर से मिला के खिचड़ी बना दिया है. So you have a very much mixture of the dialects here. अभी अगर वो एलेक्सा को वो बंगाली मोड डाल के हम लोग अपना भाषा में बात करेंगे, ये त्रिपुरा वाला, ये बंगाली मोड डालने से भी उसको समझ में नहीं आएगा आधा चीज, unless it gets trained with time. Getting the problem?
Yes, sir.
So that means if I want to use Alexa in a Bengali mode, I have to speak like the Calcutta Bengali. I cannot speak like my local dialect. The system will not understand. Even if I say Hindi also, I cannot उधर में जाके भोजपुरी बोलने से नहीं होगा. We have to speak proper Hindi. शुद्ध हिंदी बोलना पड़ेगा. Otherwise वो समझ में नहीं आएगा उसको. So that is the basic problem. Similarly, that's why there is a US English, UK English, Australian English. There are different dialects in English also. अभी तो Indian English भी आ गया है. So we select Indian English, isn't it? The tonal and phonetic pronunciations are not correct. So irrespective of the dialects, you are changing that. Now, if you think that अभी अरुणाचल या नागालैंड चला गया, वहाँ पे nearby 2 villages का भी डायलेक्ट सेम नहीं है. एक में एक वर्ड कुत्ता है, एक में वो वही वर्ड आदमी के लिए यूज होता है. So there is a very big problem in those. Okay. So natural language processing is a huge area. Few of my students who have done MTech from Nerist, they have done, most of them have gone for PhD in NIT Silchar. And NIT Silchar, there are few people along with the CDEC center, which is near NIT Silchar. They are working on different languages, mainly Assamese languages they are working. Different dialects of Assamese languages, Boro and other things. And they have been placed in good set of R&D companies who are working on this language after PhD. So after PhD on the different languages, they are working on MNCs which are, say, incorporating more and more different dialects to make this system, language interface engines more tougher, because you have data science, AI, everything coming with phonetics, pronunciations, language, then what may be the variations in sound, because everybody's vocal tract, like your fingerprint, is different. So you have to have different kind of things. And after all, the user interface nowadays has become more and less similar to your natural language processing based, isn't it? You are having IoTs coming up. You are having वो अभी तो क्या किसका एक ऐड देता है ना, वो वाटर प्यूरिफायर जो पानी गर्म कर देता है। एफएम जो लोग सुनता है वो बोल पाएगा। वो कुछ एक आईओटी बेस्ड वॉइस रिकॉग्नाइज्ड पानी गर्म करने वाला एडवर्टाइज देता है ना रेडियो में। रेडियो कौन सुनता है तुम लोग में से? एनीबॉडी? दो ही तो चैनल है यहाँ पे। एफएम कौन लोग सुनता है यहाँ पे? Have you seen, sorry, not seen, listen to the advertisement that comes up? किसका water purifier है? I forgot. Now you can directly instruct from Alexa or any other things to say boil water, or you want this much degree centigrade temperature or something. So that you can do because if, but अभी अगर तुम्हारा pronunciation गलत है, वो गर्म पानी की जगह ठंडा पानी देगा. Okay. बट द सिस्टम एक बार गलत करेगा, दो बार गलत करेगा, तीन बार में वो ट्रेन हो जाएगा, बिकॉज इट इज हैविंग ए सेल्फ लर्निंग मैकेनिज्म आल्सो अटैच्ड टू इट. गेटिंग व्हाट आई वांट टू एक्सप्लेन? बिकॉज यू आर सेइंग टू boil the water at what temperature. So if you don't say the temperature, it will just put in the heating mode, and it will be a standard. There is a default temperature also there for hot, and default temperature for. See, you can set it also. Say I set my default temperature hot to be, say, 100 degree Fahrenheit, and you may set the same thing to be, say, 98 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and somebody may set it to the boiling point, kind of thing. Okay, so user interfaces now, and more or less we want to make it as much as user friendly. And Rajiv will be knowing that nowadays everything what software guys are trying to do is to apply design thinking. Rajiv? Rajiv है या नहीं है? I think I had he had logged in. Rajiv? So what
Yes,
is
sir,
design
yes, sir.
thinking?
Design thinking, sir, it depends on projects and depends on customer requirement.
Yes.
But this is static that for every project we will go that way. Phase by phase we will proceed.
But design thinking means, as he's saying, the thing is that earlier कैसे हो गया, will सॉफ्टवेयर वाला या कोई भी कंज्यूमर को कोई भी प्रोडक्ट देना है, प्रोडक्ट बना के दे देगा. बट नाउ पीपल वांट, because now say somebody, say there are 4 companies, they are making the same thing. Now if they are making the same thing and they are making it like they want, but they have to have it like the customer wants. अभी कस्टमर जैसा चाहता है वैसा अगर वो कर पाएगा, then what will happen? Then 4 कंपनी में से जो ज्यादा कस्टमर का डिजाइन के वाइज बना पाएगा, that company will be selling their goods to the customer. So now all companies are looking for design thinking. Incorporating design thinking is that they want to modify the systems, the same software they'll be selling, but they are just changing the user interface and other things in such a way that it is friendly with the it is customer friendly, or customer is happy with that kind of change. अभी जूता बनाना है, जूता बना दिया. अभी जूता बनाने से सब लोग तो स्लीपर तो कोई भी पहन लेगा, बट that slipper has to be comfortable. Abhi, if the price is not an issue, abhi to you can take any type of coarse rubber and make a slipper also. You can make any type of shoe with any kind of leather also, but it should be user friendly. User friendly means abhi usko पहन के आराम होना है. अभी just पैर को protect करना है तो अलग बात है, but along with the protection of the legs, we need it to be comfortable and other things. That's why the best idea of healthy living is सोने वाला जगह और पैर में पहनने वाला चीज has to be good quality. अभी वो बांग्लादेश मार्केट का शर्ट पैंट पहन लो, that is not a problem, लेकिन जूता सही होना है, otherwise it will lead to a lot of diseases. Similarly, वो खाना वाना कुछ भी खाओ, वो स्टैंडर्ड खाओ, बट योर wherever you are sleeping, that should be a scientific one. Otherwise, it will lead to all health related problems. That is what the common advice from the doctors. So that is the user interface part. User interface is the most important one, and we have to consider all users are laymen, and that is the job of the expert system designer. He will extract the information from the experts, make a knowledge base with the help of the knowledge engineer. With the knowledge base, it will actually interface with the user via the user interface. So this explains how the expert systems have arrived to a particular recommendation. So you have natural language displayed on screen, verbal narrations in natural language, or maybe listings of rule and number that will be displayed in the screen for the help of the users. And the user interface will make it easy to trace the credibility of the deductions and so on. Now, the requirements for this efficient user interface are: number one, it should help the users to accomplish their goals in the shortest possible way. अभी मुझे अगर गर्म पानी करना है और ठंडा का दिन है, गर्म पानी करके मुझे पीना है, आई हैव टू बॉयल द वाटर एंड डू सो मेनी थिंग्स, जो पुराना सिस्टम है, और इवन इफ आई हैव नॉट इन्वेस्टेड एनीथिंग ऑन दैट, अभी क्या है, अभी आई विल जस्ट से इंस्ट्रक्ट एलेक्सा, एलेक्सा इज कनेक्टेड वाया आईओटी टू माय say water purifier like AquaGuard or something, whichever company it is. Now AquaGuard में भी जाके we can some models are with direct water, some models are with heating capacity, and some models are instructable heating capacity, और किसी में मैनुअली डालना पड़ता है. सो बेस्ट कौन सा है? मेरा अगर एलेक्सा ऑन है, मैं उसको बोलूंगा भाई ये करो, जैसे वी आर हैविंग ए मेड और somebody who is making it for us, और so that is the shortest possible way. बट अभी उसमें अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया, ज्यादा टेक्नोलॉजी घुसाया और इंटरनेट काम नहीं किया, तो उसमें ठंडा पानी ही मिलेगा. ओके, सो इट शुड बी डिजाइन्ड टू वर्क फॉर द यूजर्स एग्जिस्टिंग or desired work practices. Whatever is your existing or desired work practices, it should be as per that. Its technology should be adaptable to user requirements and not the other way around. That is the design thinking part. Okay, the technology that whichever we are using should be as per adaptable. If it is not as per user requirements, it should be adapting itself to the user requirements. उल्टा होगा तो कोई नहीं खरीदेगा. It should make efficient use of the user interpret. Whatever user is giving the input, it should efficiently use that. So it has some limitations. Obviously, all AI systems have limitations unless it is foolproof. No technology can offer easy or complete solution. So when there are large systems, they will be costly. They will require significant development time and computer resources. पहले जब word processor में हम लोग auto writing use किया था, at that time we had to train word. वो Alice in Wonderland पढ़ना पड़ता था. We had to read out Alice in Wonderland. Word 97 अगर किसी ने वो use किया है, Word 97, Word 2000. At that time, if you want a auto writer, by the way, any one of you have used for a UG thesis auto writer? Anyone? The arts guys use it more. We technical guys, and science guys, we use it less, क्योंकि हम लोग का प्लेगरिज्म हो जाएगा. आर्ट्स वाले बहुत यूज करते हैं वो ऑटो राइटर में. अगर उन लोगों का, बिकॉज देयर प्रोनाउंसिएशन इज मच बेटर देन अस, सो दे विल यूज ऑटो राइटर एंड दे हेडफोन लगाएगा, कुछ कुछ बोलता रहेगा, बाद में वो जब लिखना हो गया, इसके बाद दे विल चेंजेस. अभी आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल डूइंग दैट. Some of my colleagues also, while doing their PhD, they have written a large part of the thesis. So obviously arts, because their how they pronounce and how they think about it, that is the main important part. But for that, if you see Word 97 and Word 2000, those at that time we had to train the system. अभी तो Microsoft का Cortana है. Cortana is the best in terms of language kind of thing. I hope you know that Cortana.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they used to just speak out. You will speak out. अभी इलेक्ट्रिकल वाले या इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स वाले या आईटी वाले, एमसीए वाले या स्टैटिस्टिक्स वाले अगर अपना थीसिस लिखने के टाइम पे कुछ कुछ बोलेगा, we are not that ornamental in our voicing. We have to put, अभी इसमें थीटा बिठाना पड़ेगा तो फिर हेडेक हो जाएगा. वो वॉइस वाला गड़बड़ कर देगा थीटा डालने के लिए. वो थीटा THETA लिख देगा अगर लिखेगा भी तो. when we have to put a lot of symbols and other things, equations डालना पड़ता है. So हम लोग वो उससे नहीं कर पाएंगे, हम लोगों से वो नहीं होगा. लेकिन conclusion, abstract, वो सब में हम लोग कर सकते हैं, but we will not be so free flowing in telling these things because of the fact that we are normally using facts. Okay, so we are referring some papers and we are using facts and inserting in our thesis. Whereas the same thing when it will be done by a Hindi guy or a Bengali guy or a language guy for their linguistic based thesis, तो उसमें तो वो लोग अपना ornamental भाषा लिखे बोलेंगे, बोलेगा तो टाइप करने में तो वो लोग स्लो होंगे हम लोगों से. So they will read out and automatically it will be written. For them it is very user friendly. Okay. Next is that expert systems have limitations which include limitation of technology. अभी मैंने जो बोला है पानी गर्म करने के लिए बोला, लेकिन तब जियो डाउन है, तो तुम्हारा पानी ठंडा ही पीना पड़ेगा. If जियो is down, so limitation of technology वहाँ पे है. या फिर मान लो कि करंट ही नहीं है, तब तो वो पानी ही नहीं मिलेगा तुमको, तो फिर वही गैस में ही डालना पड़ेगा. डिफिकल्ट नॉलेज एक्विजिशन, बिकॉज एक्सपर्ट सिस्टम बनाना है तो एक्सपर्ट भी पहले होना पड़ेगा और उसके बाद एक्सपर्ट से वो नॉलेज एक्सट्रैक्ट करने के लिए नॉलेज इंजीनियर भी सही होना पड़ेगा. यू नीड टू हैव ए गुड एक्सपर्ट, you need to have a good knowledge engineer, and you have to have a good communication capability of both of them in between them. अभी एक्सपर्ट आ गया ये फ्रेंच से, वो फ्रेंच बोल रहा है, और जो नॉलेज इंजीनियर है वो उसको आता ही नहीं है फ्रेंच, तो वो if he is a very good engineer और वो बहुत unless they communicate you will not be able to extract the information. And same is for if it is from different, so that's why you have a lot of language. Abhi software wale jo log they know very good say one or two foreign languages are in demand, where the Indian market is having projects with, say German is one of the in demand things. So if anybody, even in KV schools nowadays, they teach German and Japanese, because Japan is one of the oldest population and they need a lot of engineers. So as they need a lot of engineers, supply कौन देगा? हम लोग देंगे, लेकिन वहाँ पे तो जापानीज छोड़ के कुछ चलेगा नहीं. So हमारा इंजीनियर जापानीज सीख के जाएगा. So that is the way out. Okay. So similarly, German also, SWAYAM is not NPTEL, but SWAYAM has been every time, every session they are keeping a German 1 and German 2 course. Okay, one lady of 87 years, last to last year, cleared German 1 and German 2 papers back to back in 2 days, because she was going to her son and others. So that was a huge hit, because at 87 years also she is doing this German 1 and German 2 course at a time, same time she was doing 2 courses from SWAYAM and was sitting for the exam. And that was a very big achievement for the SWAYAM group. So they put her photo everywhere, and I think तुम लोग का 2-3 आदमी को मिला के उसका एज का सेम होगा. Getting? So if she at 87 years can learn German 1 and German 2, तुम लोग के लिए तो जर्मन सीखेगा तो ऐसे ही प्लेसमेंट हो जाएगा. So that is very important. Okay, so this expert systems are obviously difficult to maintain because you have to constantly update them, and high developmental costs. So development cost will be high. क्योंकि knowledge engineer अगर अच्छा नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा, knowledge engineer अगर अच्छा होगा वो पैसा भी ज्यादा चार्ज करेगा, expert को भी honorarium देना पड़ेगा. So it will be having high developmental costs. So these are the various applications of expert systems. Design domain, you have their medical domain, monitoring systems, process control हमारे electrical वालों लोग के लिए, finance and commerce for the statistics guys, and obviously the knowledge domain. Okay, so the general steps if you want to develop an expert system: first, process is iterative. So we'll go ahead. First, identify the problem domain. For which domain you need an expert system. The problem must be suitable. Otherwise, you will not be going for expert system. अगर और भी कोई simple option है, then you will go for that. You will not be going for a expert system. Then you have to look for the expert. बिना expert का expert system बनेगा नहीं. And cost effectiveness, knowledge engineer, expert, ये सबको पैसा वैसा दे के अगर मैं एक system बनाया and if there is no takers, then it is of no use. So cost effectiveness you have to see, and whether it is a high demand thing for which we are making it because experts are very less or so. So these kind of things we have to do. Design of the system. So we have to identify this the technology that we'll be using for the design of the system. Then how know what is the degree of integration with other systems that we can do. अभी जैसे Alexa आ गया, अभी Alexa सबके साथ means voice things, whether it is Alexa or any other, से Amazon का भी है और Apple का भी है, Google का भी है, सबने अपना अपना voice over engine बना लिया. So what you can do is that whether what is the degree of integration. Okay, that is अभी मेरा पायरेटेड वाला सिस्टम उसमें चलेगा कि नहीं, क्योंकि मैं तो 2-3 चीज खरीदूंगा, बाकी मैं पायरेटेड डालूंगा. एप्पल लिया तो एप्पल का अगर उसका इंटरफेस नहीं होगा देन इट इज वेस्टेज. अभी यूएसबी 3 का अभी तो रिसेंटली शायद एप्पल ने उसको इंटीग्रेट किया है. एनीबॉडी यूजिंग एप्पल सिस्टम्स हियर?
Yes, sir.
So USB 3 का क्या है? You have a interface for USB 3 now?
Yeah, I have a USB, but I don't know the type. I use that to charge and to connect with PC.
No. I'm saying for Apple, do you have a USB 3 interconnect? पहले तो Fireware था.
हाँ, एक USB तो है.
ना USB है, USB 2 है कि 3 है, कौन सा है, या टाइप सी है?
ये मुझे एक्यूरेट नहीं पता. ये देखने में एकदम एंड्रॉइड की जैसे ही है. बोथ साइड कनेक्ट किया जा सकता है.
No. I'm not telling about that. I'm telling in Apple systems earlier when we had USB 2, they needed a lot of time because when USB 3 was in the market, they were behaving as USB 2 in the Apple systems, whether it is computer or tablet, whatever it is. Okay, because unless you get the speed of USB 3 using a, अभी तुम्हारा USB 3 वाला पेन ड्राइव खरीदा with high rate compared to the USB 2, अभी तुम्हारा Apple system में लगा रहे हो and there that USB port is working at the speed of USB 2, तब वो तो तुम्हारा अगर Apple system में तो तुम USB 3 पेन ड्राइव खरीद के फायदा नहीं है. Getting? USB 3
Yes,
you will
sir.
prefer because it is high speed. So in between Apple had come up with Fireware. So at that time, because Apple had come up with Fireware, it was very unpopular. The reason for its unpopularity was because वो Fireware Apple में काम करता है, दूसरा वो कंप्यूटर में काम नहीं करता है. So I don't know whether they have say initiated the USB 3 protocol or not, or directly they have gone to USB Type C. Okay. So that's why I was asking if any of you are using that, and you can say. I am not a very say promoter of Apple because I use a lot of pirated softwares and I have issues with using Apple. Okay, so anyway, so for design of the systems, you have these 3 points. The first one is identifying the expert system technology, then knowing how to, means the degree of integration, that is what I was telling, because if the integration is not, अभी Apple का Fireware है मेरे पास, I cannot use that in my Windows PC. Okay, then realize how the concepts can present in the domain knowledge at the best. Okay, then develop the prototype. Now the develop the prototype means from the knowledge base, the knowledge engineer will be working on that to develop the prototype, and for that they have to acquire the domain knowledge from the expert, and then we have to represent in the form of if then else, whether they do it in forward chaining or backward chaining, whatever it is. Okay, so the next process is testing and refining the prototype, because you have come up with a prototype. Now unless you test the prototype, वो directly large scale production करेगा तो पूरा पैसा डूब जाएगा. So what you have to do, you have to test the prototype. For the testing phase, what you have to do, the knowledge engineer uses the sample cases for the prototype and find out the deficiencies in the performance. Even in software field, you have a testing phase where this is done. So end users then use the prototype and test the expert system to give it a go ahead. Once it gets the go ahead, then it goes for developing and completing the expert system. So then the test, after the testing and ensuring that interaction of expert system with the user interface is fine, say including users, databases, information systems, then you have to document the expert system project very well and train the users to use the expert system. So here, if you have a very good user interface, then you can avoid the training of users to use the expert system. And then after it is in the market and other things, then you have to maintain the system via keeping knowledge base up to date based on the recent changes and other things, and cater new interfaces time to time. Whenever new interfaces will come, they have to be catered with this system, okay, so that the system evolves with respect to time. So benefits, first is availability. They are easily available due to mass production of software. Then less production cost is reasonable, because if unless the production cost is reasonable, then it cannot be affordable. So the production cost is less, because say I need, say hundreds of people need this expert system. So obviously if I am able to design one, I can resell them more number of times, and the production cost will go down. Obviously speed, they offer speed, like I was giving the example, like from one end you are saying something and the work is getting done. And less error rate, because it is highly reliable. Obviously we had initially addressed the reliability factor. Reducing risk, for dangerous environments you don't need to send the expert. वो एक्सपर्ट सिस्टम को एक्सपर्ट के वाइज ट्रेन करके एक्सपर्ट सिस्टम को भेज दिया, एक्सपर्ट को भेजने का जरूरत नहीं उस कंडीशन में. स्टेडी रिस्पॉन्स, ओके, सो वर्क स्टेडीली विदाउट गेटिंग मोशनल टेंस. अभी अगर आदमी भेजेगा तो प्रॉब्लम होगा, तो सिस्टम भेजेगा, सो इट विल नॉट बी क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम बिकॉज इट्स अ मशीन. So I'll be stopping here.